it's starting to be good. We are starting to test the setup during the weekend.
It would be amazing to be in the points in every race. I think that should ultimately to be the goal for us.
We have to be there, we have to be always there, and it will come one day.
You can't really understand the feeling until you live it. When everything is about to start, that day you wake up and the energy kicks in, knowing the season is about to begin. 12 months ahead of you. It's like a book you have read again and again, but it's always new. F1 has the power to always surprise you. The motivation blends with the passion and the focus, they become one. And then you look at yourself and you realize that the day has arrived and the only thing you can hear is your heartbeat, moving faster and faster.
Currently the track conditions, the wind direction is very similar. Track temp though is 5 degrees hotter than in quali.
F1 is seen as an individual sport, but it's not. It's the first thing that I learned when I joined motorsport.
Low speed corner.
Yeah. The end of sector 2.
Bringing together all the pieces is not easy, but has always been my goal from day one. This time here, before we kick off, is more than key. Every single detail, every person will dictate the pulse and will define where we go next.
Alfa Romeo is more than a sponsor to us. It's a partner with the true meanings of the word. It's a collaboration that goes beyond the F1 experience to road cars, to technology and many more things. It's super important to have such a partner that has such a historical meaning into Formula One, and combining these two brands, Sauber and Alfa Romeo, with their heritage and legacy in Formula One, and to create with them the future of our both companies.
The relationship between Sauber and Alfa Romeo really comes alive when launching a new car. They are leaders in engineering, in aerodynamics and design. Sauber is building the car, but at Centro Stile we bring this legendary brand to life. We design a livery that embodies the passion and the legacy of Alfa Romeo. Our style meets their engineering and the result is always beyond. It is very exciting to see the car you have imagined finally coming to life, driving, on track with the drivers, with the team, with the people.
People could think that the driver is the hero, and it is. But at the end of the day, there is a lot of people working behind. The Formula One team is made of 500 people, and on top of the 500 people, there is an entire brand working behind.
Here's where everything starts, in the wind tunnel in the factory. We test, we shape, we push. It's beautiful to see the parallelism of machine preparation and human preparation, hand by hand, moving forward.
We build up a new car every year, and this is the biggest challenge because you really need to get a reliable and a fast car in a very short time.
We need to make sure that we design the Formula One car to be as fast as possible within the constraints given by the FIA, and we must do that in the shortest time possible. So the quicker the development rate, the faster the car will go on track. We must work with the race engineering and our vehicle dynamics department to really make sure that we can extract the most out of it, such that the driver can push it to the limit.
We not just go to the circuit, we have preparation start. I have maybe 1 or 2 days rest.
So when we do the comparison with the new bits, we'll do the full package. We put everything that we think, and then we make that comparison.
And then before that, we have simulator at the factory to be learning the circuit, to be helping development the new car.
It's absolutely amazing. So because we never have a stop, so we do not have a start of production of a product. We're not saying, okay, we have something nice, we want to produce that for the next 5 years. We are always developing and we have to be always sharp. And if we are not improving, we are falling back. So standing still means falling back.
Whether physically at the race or at the factory, we are talking hundreds of people looking for your back, and that gives me the confidence as well that I have endless amount of support from everywhere, and everyone is looking out for me.
Honestly, I know it's hard to believe, but you have to trust me. It's got maximum taste and zero sugar.
Stop playing games, wooden boy.
No, I'm a real boy.
Pepsi Max. Maximum taste, zero sugar. Try and believe.
What do you see here? Maybe history, or maybe it's the future.
Amarti mi consola.
Tonali plug-in hybrid, a new charge of sportiness.
away from action when it comes to where we are from the Swiss borders. We find ourselves over in Italy, and we find ourselves at Lago Maggiore and the east layout today of your Alfa Romeo GT Cup with Velocity Esports Racing. We're here today with Motors Incorporated, Level Academy, Area 1 TV, and Pepsi, as well as, of course, Alfa Romeo for the Cup action that we have here today. And we're going to be in for a real treat in terms of action. It is going to be 30 minutes worth of racing, and the car of choice today is the Alfa Romeo Giulia GTAm from 2020, a car which has had over 110 years of history and legacy in terms of what the Giulia brand has built to both driving and to racing. And on top of that, it is an absolute behemoth of a machine. 532 brake horsepower. It is one of the most beautiful pieces of machinery out there. Not only does it have that ability to go out to the very, very top and prove that it has got all of the capabilities to go through, it's a rear-wheel drive car. And because it is a rear-wheel drive car, it is going to be very difficult today along the high-speed middle sector for drivers to get exactly what they want of it. We are just a couple of moments away from jumping over towards qualifying action. There are 15 minutes worth of qualifying on offer here today. And then, of course, the endurance-style race is 30 minutes long. And this should be a very important run for the opening stages of this foray with a two-race championship, I should say. This should be very much about getting up speed quickly. It's very unique in the sense that for two championships, we've got two different car track combinations. When it comes to the final round of the championship, which will be a week from today, we'll be heading to Monza, the most fabled Italian circuit of them all, to race the 4C Group 3 car around to showcase just how incredible the high-end top speed is when it comes to racing action. But when it comes to this first track, this is what I love about Gran Turismo 7. We talk about it being the virtual, and because it is the virtual track, you have less limitation in terms of building and designing when it comes to a circuit compared to what you do have in the real world. Any combination of corners, any combination of elevation that you want, it can be built, it can be created. And Lago Maggiore very much has that ability to go through the progressions of elevation. It has absolutely everything you want and then some available to it. And then when you sit down, you understand and you say, right, okay, this is what you want. This is we look right now at the track, and we take a look at the number part who is classified at the moment in first position in Addicts, who is going to be looking to try and make as much progress as possible up and over the brow of the hill on this very, very beautiful circuit, and just finding out what makes this middle sector difficult here. Trying to carry as much speed over the curbs, and 56.1 as you flick left through the middle sector over the orange anti-cut curb, you flow through towards this final corner, which will be the last great overtaking opportunity over the course of the lap as you take this second cut through what would normally be the Grand Prix circuit and will make that charge over towards the line. Expect lap times to be quick here, and they definitely will do with a 121.3. That is a very, very nice opening lap that is put in on the board. You can't really argue too much about that in terms of the opening times which have been put through. 0.6 of a second quicker than Vyaku, who is in second position, but has just been leapfrogged over the top. So that's definitely not going to be ideal in terms of that scenario. But the middle sector, I think, is going to be crucial. That opening sector, you're always trying to carry as much speed as you can before you hit the brakes here. This is a tough section of track. You are always trying to find the latest apex possible to drive through the middle of the hill. It plateaus. There is Ivan, who finds himself in second position, the anime style machine there going through, and definitely note here with the mini-map on the top right of your screen, wind 1.8 meters per second, not much to deal with. The back end steps out massively going through. That there, I believe, is Marine from HoloLive on the side of the car. But now, moving forward, this is really just what makes it difficult. You've got a rear-wheel drive car, all of the balance is going to be there, front engine as well. So you've got that front engine, rear-wheel drive, so all that power is going to have a little bit of time to work with. And you are going to see, especially when you go downhill braking, that's where you find all the troubles. Viaku getting even closer now to those times up at the front. And when you're in a train like this, you get that ability of slipstream, and it has been turned on in this series to real. There are a number of different formats available that allow drivers to go through, the likes then of Potsy moving up, then finding a few times there, Daniel 31 up into third position. There is Jelinu, who is there in seventh, fighting in eighth in the Monster Energy car. And it's not often that you get to see drivers battling for position on a qualifying lap, but here you see it coming through turn number 3 on circuit, flicking through the 90-degree right to turn 4. Reminds me very much of turn 4 at Mugello. Very similar as you then drop down the hill, looking for that long run on this roller coaster towards turn number 5. Just getting out of the way of everybody then is Shalinu. This won't be, a flying lap. Big kick of oversteer through the middle of the corner, and one car pulled over to the side. His driver in 6th position, so that is Orlan, who is there a little bit further back. Kane Ziffer in 10th position right now, 1.8 seconds adrift at this moment in time, trying to open up a little bit more in terms of lap time, heading towards that final corner. The back end really kicking out, able to recover that back and deal with a little bit of oversteer there, but you definitely have the ability to save the machinery here. There is that chance to make that happen, and because this is 30 minutes worth of racing, you do have to keep in mind on how long they go through. They don't have to worry too much about how much they're sliding around from a tyre perspective, though, here today. There is no tyre wear in this series, so they are allowed to go by the law of the land, so to speak, flat out on the racing soft tyres, which they will all have available to them, and they will all absolutely need to fly. There is also no fuel consumption, so don't expect there to be a pit stop in this series. They are racing flat out for half an hour to look to push. Kane Ziffer's lap time did move him up into 7th position overall, so there was that element of time, and already 5 laps then scored in the session. There is T. Elder in 10th position, the yellow machine, you can't miss it. Very much looking like Bumblebee from Transformers, now running through the middle sector, the left, right, left, all about carrying momentum through here and how much confidence you have in the downforce produced by the spoiler on the back, how much confidence you have in the grip of the tyres on the road as you now find yourself out of that section, heading to the final corner, out on circuit, just dissecting through. You can already see the marble build up there on the outside of the circuit, so it does showcase how difficult it is. Kane Ziffer's just gone quicker to a 22 flat, but we'll see what Elder's lap time is heading over the line, and it's a 22.2, so that is 8th fastest at the moment. So we are definitely seeing those times as Noel 27 moves off the road and finds out what daisy cutting is around this very, very pretty outside of the circuit. Very easy to just push a little bit too fast through certain sectors on this track, and very much a reduced circuit compared to the full Grand Prix 17 turn layout that this has, flicking through a section of track, that middle sector, so fast, and it really does make you wonder just how much you have to push. But it's still your top 3. Adix, Viaku and Dens is your top 3 at this stage, but the gap, which was 0.6 of a second, is now 0.3 of a second. There is Viaku running very much the Orlan style sponsor car, almost as if it is very Formula inspired by the Alfa Romeo team. And in 2nd position, got only a 10th position then to 3rd, 21.1 the fastest time overall, and flying over towards the lines. We take this drone shot, was about a 10th of a second off the pace compared to fastest lap. There is Dens in 3rd position, all of the curb being used up then and trying to really attack as Kane Ziffer's just gone quickest out of nowhere on a 21.1. So suddenly opened it up, and by 0.003 of a second has the pole position, but we are running out of time very quickly. Only the 15 minutes, of course, in this qualifying session, and we have already elapsed the 8.5, nearly 9 minutes, bottom left-hand corner of your screen for how long the session's gone through. They will have 6 minutes remaining to try and put their best time in. So Addicts, 0.003 of a second. Sounds very easy, doesn't it? That's pretty much the distance of about 30 centimeters needing to find over the lap to leapfrog over Kane Ziffer, but now flicking through that left, right, left that comes through the section through turn 7, and now looking to extend over the right-hand side of the track under the bridge through 8 and 9. The left-right flick that goes through. I don't expect drivers to be too wide through there, but I do expect them to carry the speed and slipstream as they look. Look how the car pitches down under braking at turn 10. They're going to have to be a little bit concerned about that, how much they can go through. We'll take a driver's eyes view then here in this Velocity Esports Racing Alfa Romeo GT Cup for what turn number 1 is. This very tough braking zone. We do flick over to Vyaku though, coming out then of turn 2. The long left-hand, or the wrong right-hander I should say, now through the 90-degree left, which flicks nicely into the 90-degree right-hander here at turn 4. You're always trying to put the power down early, but it's downhill on the exit, so you have to be patient as you go through. A miniature paddock down at the bottom of the circuit. You now look for the very tough braking zone, the late braking zone here at turn 5. You wait, you wait, you wait, and then back up the hill. You're looking to try and put that power down, and then as we take the chase view up towards 6, 7, and 8, this is the important section of track. Turn 6, this fast left-hander. You get turn 6 wrong, down the hill, you're in trouble for 7 and 8 because they flow naturally through it. And look how much Vyaku takes out of it. He's up then by 18 thousandths of a second only. He needs 0.3 of a second in order to jump even further forward and move up into second. On the brakes goes Vyaku into the final corner, trying to get the car straightened up as quickly as possible, uses all the curb on the exit and doesn't go all the way to the inside immediately to try and straight line the track as much as possible, trying to keep as much of a straight steering wheel as possible, and as such drops 1/10 of a second then on the final lap. Elder has moved up then into 4th position overall, has certainly found some good times there, 5 thousandths quicker than Dens, who has gone 3rd to 5th in the blink of an eye. And the question will be, will there be improvements? Not on that lap. That lap was a second off the pace. HRG Super Uber in 6th position in the GoPro machine is going to certainly go through. Massive twitch of oversteer on the power though. Got to be very careful. 532 rampaging horses want to escape the barn, and you don't want to be the one who's too aggressive on the power on a rear-wheel drive car where all of that power generates into the rear wheels, which means that you're very likely to see the car going sideways out there on track. Oh, and a big moment coming through turn number 5, and that just accentuates how difficult it is with less than 3 minutes to go in this qualifying session. Everybody trying to open up and find the best lap they possibly can. You got Daniel 31 in 7th, Ivan 46 in 8th place, but at least for the time being, HRG Super in 6th position, 0.9 of a second adrift. It's only half a second off of the fastest time in qualifying, so half a second only, and it just shows you how close 3rd is on back to about 6th, 7th position, about 1/10 of a second between them. 21.662, 6th lap, their fastest time overall, and now running through towards the line once again. Don't expect this to improve. A 22.3, reset, get yourself back into position. Everyone's trying to find enough time out there, but it is still Kane Ziffer who is out there with 2 minutes to go and just opening that 0.003 of a second margin at this stage. Lap 6 has seemed to be the money lap for most, and there in second is Addicts trying to gear it up. That flying lap, open up and find just that small margin. Sometimes it's the small margins that are the biggest difference makers when it comes to the Alfa Romeo GT Cup and how you try and navigate through all of this. Down the hill through turn 4 and really descending, getting a huger boost on the power thanks to gravity descending down the hill. We are at the base of the Eastern Alps here in Italy and moving over towards the Swiss mountains, and soon looking to try and push up the hill once again. Alex looking pretty neat, actually, has to be said, on this lap, trying to take as much as possible. Perfect going through. Vyaku does improve on lap time, moves up to a 4. Alex pushes too hard though through turn 8, and that will compromise the lap, and they're running out of time. Small little bit of damage to the rear left as well, I think is superficial, shouldn't be affecting too much out there in terms of the lap times, but be 3 thousandths down and unable to find that time. This will be the final lap that comes through, because we are heading towards that 15-minute margin. Ivan moving up then 1 position, jumping up through. Chelinu then also jumping up a little bit in time, getting some quick times. You'll see who improves on the left-hand side, and it looks like Daniel as well, moving up to a 21.7. That's good enough for 8th place as we focus on your leader in qualifying. Down the hill and now trying to get back up, having to take a second bite of the cherry there through turn 5. Very Vialunga style look then coming up the hill through on the exit of turn 5, and then 2 bites again through turn 6. It's certainly struggling here on this lap is Kane to really get as much as possible over the grass slightly. You can see down on the split as the checkered flag now will come out. The final lap in red, you can see top left of your screen, just above the timing tower. And as such, any lap times from here that improve, that is it. You race to the checkered flag, and I doubt that we'll see improvements here on this lap. Over the line goes Kane Ziffer to put together a 21.4. Not good enough, but there's a whole slew arriving just behind of drivers who could improve, including Elder, who is in 4th position. Not going to manage that, but ultimately, as all the times then are through and completed, 3 thousandths for Kane Ziffer ahead of Alex, and it's Vyaku in 3rd. It's Elder 4th, Denton 5th, HRD Super Uber in 6th position, Orland Ivan 46, Daniel 31, and Shalinu rounding out then the top 10 overall by the 15 minutes worth of qualifying. They will have themselves 30 minutes available to them in this race at Lago Maggiore in the east layout. You can see the west layout heads up and over the hill. See there, that flick over left, and it's all about now patience over 30 minutes with a field that is so strong, that is so amazing to see. We could be in for a real treat in this first race of 2. Standing start then for them, as the focus is going to be, where do you push on this opening lap? Those on the left-hand side of the circuit maybe have a slight disadvantage. They don't have the racing lines, the green flag and the green lights fall, and we get ourselves then to racing here in Velocity Esports Racing. Alex got a great start on the outside, looking to try and manage through. 3 wide at the opening corner. Vyaku, they sandwich each other in. Vyaku finds a way up into the race lead then as they make more door-to-door contact through turn 2. Alex doing pretty much everything that needs to, but all of a sudden, it's the line that's there. T. Elder in 4th position, just watching the top 3 get aggressive, and a big lunge then over to the inside, trying to open up then and gain that place in 4th position. Wasn't going to manage it, but there is HRG Super Uber moving to the outside, trying to get it done the long way at turn 5. Most difficult way to get it done. Watch out for everyone under brakes. Big slide. Elder's going to save the slide, but he's going to lose traction on the exit as Marine there behind is certainly looking through. Ivan's had a fantastic start to this race. The HRG Super Uber car then flying through, and then fantastically they're getting that all sorted there. Ivan, a little bit of contact there on the HoloLive car, is going to find that Giulia is through and up into 5th position. What a start from Ivan then off of this opening section. There's very much a pack of 6 at the front, and then the next 4 or 5 find themselves a little bit ways away off of the opening lap. But 1 lap then has found itself score complete. A crucial opening lap then here to this race, and it is, at least for the moment, Vyaku, who has the lead, has gone from 3rd to 1st, but he is definitely not safe because Alex is there in 2nd. Kane Ziffer, the pole sitter, back into 3rd position, and then you got HRG Super Uber in 4th place, looking to try and get in on the mix then, rushing through turns 3 and 4. So we take a look from the chase view, and now from a driver's eyes perspective from the race leader, and now back to 2nd position down the hill. You can see the yellow marker saying shift on the dash, and it's the fastest first sector of anybody from Addicts, no surprise, looking at the inside into turn 5, and you really need confidence through turn 5. You're going to lunge up the inside, uses all the curve on the exit of the corner, but Vyaku will be able to extend to a couple car lengths, and as such has defended the line through the middle sector of the lap, providing that there is no understeer through this very, very tricky middle sector, and then across as they now start to push further. Now losing the back here is Ivan. He's now down to up to a 1.2 second gap, I should say, to HRG Super Uber. So that gap is going to be worked incredibly hard. And if they don't battle in front, I can see that gap opening out and extending away. And that could be nightmarish for Ivan 46 in 5th position. And now trying to open up as much as possible to get as close as possible. They are looking, though, in the race for 2nd overall. It looks there like Vyaku has gone from 1st to almost 3rd. It's Kane Ziffer trying to go around the outside to make the pass. Addicts has found the way through at turn 1. This is going to be the prime place to get it done today with the slipstream. And as such, patience needed then, as it is now Addicts who takes the race lead for the first time at the start of lap 3. Now looking to get a drive down the hill then. You can see brilliance then of the hills going forward on the brakes, trying to manage and maintain the move on the inside. Has this all been covered on the outside? You absolutely bet it has. Kane Ziffer back up then into 2nd position, making a fantastic move to get things sorted. Half an hour's worth of racing course. We're only through 3 minutes and 45 seconds worth of it at the moment, but that overtake then from Kane Ziffer has come at the cost as he gets a tap through turn 9. That's always a scary place to get it. Suddenly, they're allowing Addicts an ability to break away. A search to the inside from Vyaku, who knows he has to strike now or he'll strike never. He gets the move sorted, but he's got no drive off the exit. That'll open Kane Ziffer an opportunity then on this front stretch, unless the slipstream really is strong, and it is, because he's just managing to pull in about a 0.5 of a second on Addicts, and that's just enough to defend the position into the opening corner. So an action-packed opening 5 minutes that has put itself through, and suddenly Kane Ziffer finds himself now in 3rd position with Vyaku finding a way through. HRG Super Uber then in 4th position. I'll tell you what, the race is interesting as well, about 7th position back with about dens on the miniature map as things stand as well. So keep an eye out on that. In the mid-pack, every point matters in a series like this. Kane Ziffer now on the outside, heading to turn 5, trying to get it done. Big kick of oversteer from Super Uber. Now he's going to have to abandon left off of the exit because Ivan's down the inside there. And it looks like Marin's found a way through, up now into 4th, sailing on by at this stage. There's the race on for 8th position, as you've got Daniel Angelinu at it right now. 8th and 9th places here, running through the middle sector of the lap. The flicks of left, of right and left once again, trying to really open up as much run as possible. You can see the gap behind at 2.3 seconds. That's what they're running away from, Potsy and Orlan at this moment in time. But you've got to be very much in line. And the tribute to Ken Block, the number 43 out there for Shalinu, now starting to really look behind and say, in 8th position, I see where 7th place is. I see where 9th place is, and that's right behind me. I don't want to be the driver who finds himself in 9th place. There goes Daniel, heavy on the brakes into the opening corner, trying to search around the outside. If you can get an angle on that outside, because it is such a short shoot between turns 1 and 2, you really do have the opportunity to find the pass, to find the place, and absolutely mastermind an overtake, but not able to happen there at turn 1. Orlan has just found a way through on Potsy, and there is a look then from HRG Super Uber as Vyaku actually running slightly wide there through turn number 5, and that opens Ivan up with a chance, who has just been calm, has been allowing everybody else to race around, and hasn't really put the car in any wrong positions at this moment, really attacking over the curb. And they have to be careful about how much they attack around this Lago Maggiore circuit, because they do have cut penalties on it strong. Vyaku, another kick of oversteer, this time through the transfer of 9 and 10, and this opens Ivan up to the inside at the braking zone at 11, covers off the inside and effectively forces his way through on Vyaku with a touring car style pass, to make that sorted. HRG Super Uber now will be on the outside. Now, who wants the draft? Super Uber will take it, but Vyaku trying to lean slightly, and it's going to be about who breaks later. It's Super Uber who's later on the brakes and trying to hold the GoPro line on the outside into turn 2, and it's going to get it done, but here comes the up and under, and it'll have to come for 2 straight more corners here for Vyaku. It's on the wrong side of the road here at turn 3, and as such has to yield and cede the position. Super Uber not over to the fullest extent of the circuit and will slide wide with understeer, and that will ultimately mean that Vyaku has a half chance in towards turn number 5. How fast and thick the lines certainly seem to change, and the contrast in dynamics, big correction of oversteer going through 5 for Vyaku, who was up in the race lead on the opening corner of this race, now finds himself back down into 5th position as Aditz has run away with it. Super Uber with another massive slide through the middle sector of the corner, and now at 6, 7, and now 8, trying to get really aggressive now with the anti-cut curbs. Vyaku losing time, losing patience, and you can see really having to fight through turn 10 to get the car settled in the right position, and will lunge to the inside to try and get the pass sorted, and is gonna manage it off of the exit here in Velocity Esports Racing. That's brilliantly done. You can see the red banner there on the back for T Elder. That indicates a time penalty. That'll be added on at the end of the race. 2 seconds at this point, and that'll be for cut tracks. So keep an eye out on those penalties. They will add up as the racing goes on. It's important to stay within the boundaries here, and one of the best systems out there in sim racing is this cut track penalty system that Gran Turismo 7 has implemented into it. A 2-second penalty that can be served at either any pit stop that's taken. We doubt we'll see any pit stops today with no need for fuel and no need for tyres, or it is served at the end of the race. There in 7th is Dens, who at current would go through. We look back, there's Potsy a little bit further back now, and is going to have Sir DA just behind, trying to figure out there the very, very Lancia style, I would say, livery that is out there, very much like a Stratos at this point in time, looking to charge down through. And then just behind that, you've got All On then, a very, very sleek white, black and red Carbonieri machinery, then trying to go up the hill at turn 5, and actually going to get a great run here on Sir DA, who has got a ½ second time penalty, and just like that is going to flick through before they even reach turn number 6, taking all of the track there, the striking white rims on that machinery, then trying to really break away, and has managed it. And there you can see Hoppy in 13th position, Noel 27 down at the very back of the field in 14th position, is actually at risk in the next couple of laps or so of being a lap down. 3 seconds your margin at the front of the field, and we are 1/3 of the way through this race, and it is going to be very much a case where you've got a very much important battle that is going to be in the offing in a moment. There is Vyaku in 4th position right now, trying to stay with Ivan, who has brought and bridged the gap out to about a second. So the opening exchange is now slowly starting to settle down here in this Alfa Romeo GT Cup, and really it's about opening through this opening third of the race. You've dealt with the most hectic, the most difficult. Now you've got to settle down. These are the money laps in terms of the race, because this is where you need to get business done and find a nice cadence, find a nice rhythm, and then move forward. HRG Super Uber proving that at the moment, keeping Vyaku and Ivan in range. Ivan smoking that inside, the outside left rear tire as much as possible through that final section of track. And I'm sure that you don't want to be doing that too much. It won't harm the tire in this series. What it will do is it will cost time. So drivers do have to be a little bit alert to that. Everyone hugging the inside apex then at turn number 2 will be trying to open out as much as they can with turn 3. Vyaku really struggling to carry speed through 3, and that does affect Super Uber's braking at 4, but he is able to get a nice exit here, and he will have a chance up the inside. Carries very nice speed. In fact, it's going to bump draft then on the run then to turn number 5, and having to take 2 hinges of it. Massive amount of grass on turn in, able to recover it through the middle of the corner and keep it going again. A very fortunate save, but it has come at the cost of half a second's worth of penalty because of the cut on the inside of the corner then at turn 5. So the cut of penalty, more than enough to really make realities hurt out then at that stage of time. And the GoPro and Singer machine is going to be there. You'll be forced to decelerate at the next penalty line. Now, that is the key then. The penalty line, which comes through, is out of this final corner. So this is the penalty line. So if you decelerate here, it's a forced deceleration of half a second, and then the penalty gets served. So a fantastic little system. They have a discerned penalty there. Half a second, though, is actually 7/8 of a second. So it hurts a lot more than half a second, because not only do you have to hit the brakes for half a second, forced deceleration, you also have to put the power back on and wait for the acceleration to come back. And that's where the time can be lost. And that's why we see T. Elder back down in 7th position behind Dens. Take a look then with Hosho Marin and Ivan 46 at this moment in time. Looking behind there at 4th and 5th positions, just been driving a fantastic race. Hasn't had the same pace as Kane Ziffer. He's out 2.4 seconds at this moment. But as Bjarku again struggles through turn 5, expect a lot of drivers to find troubles here at Lago Maggiore East with that effort through 5. This is still going to be a tough race. There's your leader, Addict, and he has set the fastest middle sector of anybody, so he's going quicker and quicker as this race goes on. Let's listen in just for the moment then as we charge through the final corner with our race leader. Flying through turn 2 and trying to get as much run as possible. HRG Super Uber then in 5th position, looking to try and reach 4th position at this stage. Bjarku just in front has been here, there and everywhere sideways and misses the apex again over at turn 4, but is able to gather it back up nicely. It's starting to become a race for 3rd, 4th, 5th and 6th. Dens has just ever so quietly been creeping up on the back of this group, is 1 second behind the number 15 of HRG Super Uber in the GoPro sponsor, GoPro colors that are out there. There is Dens looking to try and make as much effort as possible here to close down the gap at Velocity Esports Racing here in this first race of 2 in the championship. They head to Monza here in the 4C 1 week from today. But at least at this moment in time, it is the Giulia GTAm 2020 road car which they're racing at this stage. 532 brake horsepower, front engine, rear wheel drive, and has itself an absolutely brilliant amount of pace to go with it. On top of that, the 3-litre twin-turbo V6s are now going to be trying to really ratchet up on the brakes, though, into turn number 1. And a big slide through 1 from Super Uber puts him well out of shape through turn 2, and really having to try and find some angle at turn 3. You can see just how much everyone is trying to fly through this middle part of the lap, well, this first part of the lap, to lead to that middle part of the lap and heavy over the curb. That's not going to do many favors at all. But Super Uber still keeping it in range. And in terms of his fastest lap, that was actually a really, really good sector. So clearly there are a couple of issues holding the power. Ivan having a big moment just in front, though, opens Bjarku's opportunity up. It'll be defensive from Ivan now into turn 6. Bjarku has to lift off, though, but will try and carry as much speed as possible through the exit. It's very much like a slingshot through here, through 7, 8, 9, and 1.5 seconds. Too aggressive from Bjarku. This is prime opportunity now for Super Uber and Dead, because there will be a slowing down that comes through. So pivot the best you can if you're Super Uber. You don't have to make the move now. You just have to be out of the way when the slowdown comes into play. Where is it going to come along? It's going to come now. So watch out. Bang. There's the slow that goes on through. And Super Uber on that inside moves up into 4th position. Den's now up into 5th. And just like that, 2 places can fall away when you least expect it out there. So Super Uber up to 4th. Ivan still holding 3rd. There's the lap traffic on the outside, getting out of the way in the grass. The blue flags will be mandatory and in effect, so getting well out of the way there on now the start of the 13th lap of this race. Addicts still your race leader and still holding a commanding 3-second advantage here at the front of this field. But take this onboard look down in towards turn number 4, just behind Dens, quietly sitting there, just waiting for mistakes, and has seen it over and over again. Hasn't put a foot wrong, maybe doesn't have the same turn of pace as the 2 drivers in front, but the way that he is driving out there is Dens. It's all about pressure. It is all about just staying in the mirrors, being a presence in a race like this. And that is the best middle sector that Dens has had all race long. So getting better and better as this race goes through. Searching for the final corner then. This long right that goes through, and you are often just waiting for the power and for the corner to end, and it just slowly does. You descend back onto the main circuit at Lago Maggiore, and now over towards the line. That is the best lap, a 21.3. Not necessarily the cleanest lap that's there, but still a fantastic lap, a 21.3 to get everything together. And Super Uber now starts to get a little more aggressive then in this race for 3rd, 4th and 5th positions. It is also on 7th and 8th positions as well between Elder and Shalino, it looks like. So we'll keep an eye out on that as it goes through. So there is the likes of Shalino, sorry, it's 8th and 9th positions then. So Shalino and Daniel is where the battle is. So 8th and 9th looks like the key. There is Elder in 7th position. Sort of island racing at this point in time. Nowhere really to try and manage or mastermind, nothing really to attack for at this stage, but still very much has a chance of picking up some positions late if there are some issues with those nearer the front of the field. As 3rd, 4th and 5th, Super Uber now through, managed to get that done at turn 5, and 2.5 seconds of penalty for Ivan. That is a race destroyer then, as effectively it's a case of asking for a parlay then from the machinery that certainly was trying to sail through this race. Stays over to that inside. There's 2.5 seconds. There it goes. And all of a sudden, look left. There goes Vyaku, who's going through. And that gap of 10 seconds now to the cars behind. Ivan's 46 has gone from 3rd to 6th in just one cut corner penalty. And they are brutal. They are very difficult to deal with. And you don't want to pick them up. And that's why you have to race clean here in this series. Otherwise, positions will fly away so very, very quickly outright. Vyaku still has 1 second in terms of a gap in 5th to Ivan behind in 6th. It's 1.5 to Dens, who is there, and the fastest first sector that he's done all race there for Vyaku. Now moving through down the hill. Dens trying to get some aggressive power off of the exit with Super Uber just in front, and now really trying to open up on that margin to 3rd place, try and close down that gap. Dens was in 8th position off of the start, moving up a place at a time and slowly creeping into this one, and has certainly done more than enough. With Addicts and Kane Ziffer, pretty much a gap that is stagnant, maybe slightly closing here by Kane Ziffer. It's a very close race at the front, but not in the sense of overtaking. An endurance style would say it's close. We have hit over the 2/3 stage of the race, which means we are going to be down now to just 1/3. So we're now looking at 9 minutes and 20 seconds, plus however long the last bit of the lap goes through. And I tell you what, HRG Super Uber looks very, very loose through the opening corner. He looks very oversteery, and that might be a cause for Dens to be quite happy if that oversteer persists into the next stages of racing. Vyaku moving through in 5th position, flicking through the right that comes along forward. And I tell you what, this is going to be a tough race for Vyaku to get back in, because he is going the wrong way in terms of bringing that time back. 1.8 seconds now, the margin, despite being 3/10 up in the opening sector compared to his best lap overall. So looks like we've got a race on. 3rd and 4th, 5th and 6th, and of course 1st and 2nd not a million miles away, but it is now starting to look like Addicts who has seen that he's hit the final third of the race, trying to extend out further. Still quicker in that middle sector then goes Yaku, running through 9 and 10, so aggressive over the curbs, having to hop over it slightly there with how much you're going to have to take from it. And then you're trying to make sure that the car is balanced under braking. Turning and braking is only going to light the rears up, and then off the exit through the final corner. Question is, looking at the lap times, the 21s are there. There is Kane Ziffer, second position, 3.3 seconds. The gap then at the front of the field, but 3.3 really needs to be about 1.3 at this point in time. If you want to make a concerted challenge, you're going to start running out of laps quickly, and you're going to have to close down at a rate of at least 0.3 of a second, if not half a second a lap, if you want any chance, because Addicts, it's just driving the race that you have to at the front of the field. Nothing dramatic about it. There's nothing that is out of control here in this race. This is just a purely professional drive from Addicts, who is driving well within his means at this point. Got himself then second position, was just a couple thousandths of a second short, was under pressure off the start, remained in second, took the race lead at the end of lap 2 and did not look back. In terms of this one, Noel though, at the front, the lap traffic has certainly put pay to a chance though. That gap has come down by 2.5 seconds, and a miracle lifeline brings itself in for Kane Ziffer. All of a sudden, the lap traffic, there won't be much happiness there for Addicts, who will look over at Noel 27 and go, well, what are you doing in the middle of the road? Because now all of a sudden, I'm in a race that I was not in about 15, 20 seconds ago. So Addicts now will have to defend through the final 6.5 minutes of this race, because Kane Ziffer has now been gifted an opportunity late on here with Velocity Esports Racing in the Alfa Romeo GT Cup. Can his Giulia find a way to make that move? Uses all the road and a bit more of his road tax through at turn number 4. His fastest first sector that he's had all race long, on the brakes, fighting all the way through. A massive kick then to make sure that he gets through the corner. You can see he was jostling the wheel twice, 3 times, just to make sure it would plant it itself, and still it didn't plant itself. And again, the back end stepping out. Kane Ziffer's almost drifting his Giulia around this circuit, and he's really having to work here to keep the balance of his Giulia in check. It's red versus green in terms of the tricolor, and now how can you get, or the tricolore, and now how can you get yourself through as you move through with Addicts here really racing? And it's almost like Addicts is trying to race to run to the Swiss border at Lago Maggiore at this moment in time, as we've got ourselves now 5.5 minutes left, which means with a 1 minute 50 or 1:17, 1:18 sort of times that we're getting, we're roughly at 4 to 5 laps here from the end of this one. Addicts now, that gap 0.3 of a second. Kane Ziffer was so aggressive over the curbs, and again he's got to be careful about how much he gets aggressive with it. The wind, of course, is going to be blowing over the circuit, which means that you actually get yourself a bit of a headwind through this section. Not brilliant. Fastest first sector of anybody, and at just the right time, trying to look for the inside. There's no angle at turn 5 just yet, but back up the hill, can you search for it? Can you find the one place where you can make a move? Not going to be here just yet at turn 6, but this battle 7.5 seconds in front of the rest of the field. I'll tell you what, Addicts has got his work cut out right now, and it's an important amount of work on top of it, running through turn 10 and heading to turn 11 every time now. We'll have to look in his mirrors at turn 11, because there is that opportunity to lunge to the inside. They go nose to tail through this section. Of course, Addicts is able to put the power down, but there is slipstream available here for Kane Ziffer, who could, if he wanted to, make the move now. They have themselves just 4 minutes left. Try and figure out where the move is. There's one car off the road over at turn number 8, it seems at this moment, so we'll have to see who that is, who is completely abandoned off the side of the road. It's not often that you see a car stopped in Gran Turismo Sport, but we'll keep note of it. But flying through, they've got a hefty chunk of lap traffic coming forward as well, so that will be to Kane Ziffer's advantage, who gets a wonderful run out of turn 4, down the hill. Surely this is where Kane Ziffer makes his move, looking to the inside. Addicts pinched over to the outside. Will he have to look? He'll have to wait and wait for the turn, and he does. He gets a massive kick of oversteer. Kane Zipper, the pole sitter, back to the race lead, has been working all race long to get back to this point, and he's managed it. Fantastic stuff. Yellow flags out, no overtaking here, and this is the car off at turn 8 on the right-hand side. You'll see it here right now. There is the car stopped on the racing surface, and that is going to stop any overtaking through the middle sector. They'll be clear of it here, but they're going to have to try and find a line coming out of turn number 9. There is Super Uber, and all of a sudden, Dens looks like he's had a slow down penalty somewhere, because he's now behind both Bjarku and Ivan out on track, and as such, is going to be back in 6th position. Lunging up, though, for P5. Not much that Ivan 46 can do, and the Marine Hosho entry, the HoloLive entry, falls behind just for the moment. You got Bjarku, though, still there in 4th. It's all suddenly kicking off inside the final 2.5 minutes. Still a race on for 4th position. Still a race on for the race lead overall. And Bjarku now is trying to break away, with Dens really carrying that curve nicely and trying to get as close as possible. 21 laps now. This is the 21st lap they've started. They've raced 20 fantastic lap times overall at this stage, and they're down to the last couple. Both drivers pushing off the edge of the circuit then. They're following each other's lines. They're hitting the brakes at the same point, using the power at the same point. Addicts not giving this one up. Yellow flags have been cleared at this section now, and that's slightly wider from Kane Zipper. That's going to open up the chance then for Addicts reaching the final corner here at turn 11. This is important now for Kane Zipper. He'll have to look in the mirrors. There is still that traffic that's there just in front that won't be helping. So now where do you make the move? Addicts trying to search the inside. It's covered and defended here by Kane Zipper on the brakes, trying to get it pointed off at the exit. He can, but Addicts is going to get the better run here, and they are going to race, and there will just about be, by my count, 1 lap to go, because they'll be short of another lap by 4 seconds. This is it for Addicts. He'll have to go around the outside at turn 1. Not going to be able to find it there. Now you start searching at turn 2. Where do you look for the move? Where do you find it on the outside? It's not going to be there, so open it up through 3 and 4 here at Lago Maggiore East. Can you open it up and find the move? Or does Addicts go at turn 4? Or does he find the move at turn 4? Contact between the two. He wasn't expecting that one, was Kane Zipper. And now on the outside, heading to turn 5, he's going to have to do the almighty defense. They wait for the pivot point at the turn of the apex. Can Addicts find it on the inside? There's more contest they go through, and Addicts has worked so hard to get back that position, and he's managed it, but it's not over yet, because you've got turn 6 and this high-speed slingshot that comes through. Turn 11 is the moneymaker now, and this race turns down to one final corner. Kane Zipper really struggling to get the line. Addicts pushes a little bit wide. Does he get penalty on the exit? No, but it gives Kane Zipper the chance now to attack for it. He'll have to look for it on the inside. Addicts defended. Still though, it's to the inside. Brilliant lunge by Kane Zipper on the inside, but has he overcooked it? Yes, he has. Addicts will take the drive off the exit and will win here at Velocity Esports Racing's Alfa Romeo GT Cup in a brilliant final lap and display between both drivers. Incredible action between the two. It'll be HRG Super Uber who will round the podium ahead of Bjarku, Dens and Ivan 46, your top 6. But an incredible display of driving there from the top 2, and Addicts, despite having the contact with the lap traffic about 7.5 minutes from the end of this race, forcing himself into a race. Kane Zipper through the kitchen sink at it, but Addicts just had enough. Oh, wow. What a race. Woo. Well, if that doesn't get you pumped for round number 2 and the final round of the championship, which will take ourselves over with the 8C, which will be going through, or the 4C, I do believe, which will be absolutely fantastic racing over at Monza. You absolutely want to get yourself in and watching that. The Alfa Romeo 4C Group 3 at Monza will be another 30 minutes that will go through on that. That will be 1 week from today, over, of course, with us at Velocity Esports Racing. But there is the confirmation, the victory that is there, and a clean race star to go with it. On top of that, some incredible racing action that we have had here today. And I tell you what, that race comes down to a number of key points. The key points being the opening 2 or 3 laps that pretty much set the table for how racing would go. The early stages, the early battling that was there pretty much set the table. You look at how it was a case where Addix was able to get to the front, made the move on lap 3. From there, he sat down, he built his margin. And when he lost that margin, the contact with the lap traffic, he didn't panic. He didn't panic when he lost the race lead overall. He had to fight for it, and he found some very unconventional places to make the overtakes. And I tell you what, I think he taught a very valuable lesson that a race is definitely not over till the last corner is turned and the checkered flag comes out then here at Velocity Esports Racing. We have been here, of course, watching this brilliant racing action with a number of partners here today, including Motors Inc., Level Academy, Area 1 TV, and Pepsi, as well as, of course, with the car that we're running, the title sponsor, Alfa Romeo, and this Alfa Romeo GT Cup. We have had some brilliant action overall, and I tell you what, we are very, very excited for what is coming up 1 week from today. It is the same time, it is the same place. You can check us out and make sure that you follow for more amazing content that is brought to you by us here. But that will pretty much bring proceedings then here from the Lago Maggiore over towards a close. When we look at where we go 1 week from today, we are moving from essentially west of Milan to northeast of Milan, because we are heading to Monza, and the most fabled circuit in potentially all the world. We are heading to the national parks of Monza. We are heading to the Autodromo Nazionale Monza, and of course, the Temple of Speed. Pay your tithings, ladies and gentlemen, because we are in for a treat. We've got Group 3 action, and that is 1 week from today.